Hello, welcome to this QandR tutorial. In this tutorial I like to focus with you on the way the main screen is interacting with the phones, the different modules that QandR is offering for you. We're using a setup whereby I am as a respondent using my phone in the QandR setting, and there's one colleague of me, because only one phone inside is not so interesting, who will also join, so you'll have two phones. Normally QandR is used in focus group sessions or bigger workshop settings between 6 and 20 people, but we'll just have now for this demonstration two phones. So let me first show you how to log in as a respondent. For this I'll switch the thing a bit and I'll show you my phone like this. So first of all, it's very important, we don't want users to actually do something complicated, so you don't have to install anything. You just go to QandR.eu, click Go, you immediately get a huge type pad. It's very hard to do something difficult here. And now the code is 0802, and you see now on the main screen that my phone is already coming in, and my colleague will also join. Let me go back to this version. So we have two phones now inside, and the phone says welcome to the event. I'm going now to the next visual. So actually the use case that we have here is a municipality that likes to know, they have building construction plans, but they like to know how these neighborhoods are positioned, how people feel about this neighborhood, and how to advertise it for people that's searching for a new house. So this is something you will see. This is actually the construction of an island. It's a bit outside of Amsterdam. We have quite some water there, and the municipality can make new islands there. So the first interaction that I like to show you is, let me show you again the phone, is a poll. So the poll in this case is non-peer influence. You see that my colleague already answered it. And the question is, are you familiar with the construction plans for Eiburg? I am, so I click yes. You see now my answer also coming in. If I hit the space bar now as a facilitator, up, it will show the answers. So in this case, we'll have two people that one is that's me, is familiar, and there's somebody somehow familiar. So this is kind of a knowledge question. The poll is often used for that, so you know what kind of knowledge you have in the room. It's not really for discussion, but it is nice to have as a poll inside. So we have the same kind of poll available, but now it shows immediately the answer. So the question is, how many additional islands do they intend to build? My colleague already answered. I know the answer here. It's actually 3, so I will click this, tuck. And you see immediately the results coming in. So compared to the other one, it is peer influenced. It's a bit more fun because you see immediately the interaction of the phones. I'm going to the next slide. So this is the pointer. Let me show you my phone again also, so you can see what's happening here. So there's a map on the main screen, and we can point here. The question is, where are they planning to put the new islands? And you see that my hand is moving left, right, and in the main screen immediately the pointer is also moving. We put quite some time and effort to put low latency in this, so even if you're on 3G it will work quite nice. And you see that both me and my colleague, we can very easily point on a picture. So in this case it is a map of the neighborhood. But this could be anything. It could be also a packaging design. It could be a new logo, or any kind of picture you can upload to QandR, and people in the room can point on it, what they like, what they don't like. It's very concrete, very specific, and very visual also. So that is the pointer. Let me go to the next one. That is a slide. In this case, it's just showing where actually the building plans are. So QandR also has the possibility to just show some pictures on the phone. These pictures will also be displayed, but it's not interactive. It's the only non-interactive part of a non-interactive model that we have. So I'm going to the next one. So this is actually the Wordcloud. Let me show you again my phone also. So the question is, what comes to mind when you think of the district Eiburg? So my colleague already sends in the water. Far to bike, because it's quite far. So you see that on the phone I can type a word, I can submit it, and immediately it comes in on the main screen. Let's send something else. Close to nature, this is. And also there is a lot of wind in this part. Yep. So the interesting part is that all these words, they animate in a nice way on the main screen, and also on my phone. I hope you can see this clearly. I can see also the suggestions of others. And now I can upvote, for instance, the word water, and you should watch the main screen now. These words get a bit bigger. So we're now with 2 phones. It's a bit nuanced, but if you are with like, let's say 10 people, and a lot of people think, this is an interesting thing, then you actually upvote, and these words, they get bigger. And in this way, you as a facilitator know, this word is shared with a lot of people in the room. They have the same opinion, and let's discuss this word a bit. So it's very important. The QandR visuals are a starting point for the discussion. So it gives the possibility for everybody to simultaneously give answers, but you still start discussing, why did you put this word there? What do you mean by this? That's the way QandR is working in a group setting. So I'm going to the next one, which is a pointer. In the beginning we also had a pointer, but it was on a map. Now this is just to illustrate you how it can also work. So I'm using my phone again. The question is, which image describes Eiburg the best? And you can choose, and I will choose now an image where there's a lot of nature, and my colleague, he pointed on something with a lot of water. Let me just quickly show you how it looks here and here. So you see that I'm pointing the blue one, I'm picking it up for a moment. And the interesting part is that people really think visually instead of with words or discussing. You can very easily associate with visuals, which is very intuitive way to discuss stuff. Okay, so that's the pointer in this case on pictures, on a grid of pictures. I'm going to the next one. This is the what we call the dilemma. It is also a pointer, but in the editor you can put two opposites of each other. So in this case, which one fits Eiburg's best? On the left side is modern, on the right side is recreational. And people can think about it. And this is interesting that with the pointer, it's kind of not black and white like with the poll, but it's, if somebody's doubting, is it recreational? No, I think in the end it's mostly modern. And then he'll put it there. Another interesting point is that as a facilitator, I know now the opinion of everybody. Immediately in an overview, I see that the green person is completely on that side, the blue is on that side. I can ask these persons to elaborate a bit on their position. Why did they choose this? And I can start from this overview. So I can give the two opposites. I don't have to go by every person to ask what's his opinion and then start a discussion. No, I have immediately the overview and we can discuss it from there. The colors is also good to mention. The colors are always during a session given to a phone. So I started in this case with blue, and during the whole session I'll be blue, and my colleague is always green. And as a facilitator, after 2 or 3 visuals, you kind of remember this person is that. We don't store any names or any other things in terms of privacy. We don't want to do this, but we do keep the color the same during the whole session. Okay, that was the dilemma. Let's go to the next one. This is the mood board. I'd like to show you again my hand. I'll put it here for a moment. So the mood board is quite an advanced model. So we are asking here, find an image of a building style that you would like to see in Eiburg. So it has a search, a camera and a text option. So let's now search just, and search means typing a word. What I'll do is Albert Hein huisje. Yeah. And then it searches the whole internet, finds pictures. It uses, in this case, the Google Image API. You can configure this also in the editor. And I would like this to be as a building style. And yeah, we're all sending in pictures. So my colleague also found something. And instead of this very very modern buildings, we see an old farm and an old house. And yeah, this is interesting also for, let's say, an architect or whatever that is discussing the way they should build stuff, that you immediately have visual impressions of what people like. Whether if somebody says an old-fashioned style, it's not so concrete to really discuss. And again, you have the whole internet to find images and to upload them. The Moodboard also has the ability to use the camera roll, which I'll demonstrate a bit later in the tutorial. Actually, I'm demonstrating it now because now there is a upload. So I'm again showing my hand also. So now I'll use the camera option. I'm clicking here on camera, then it goes to my photo library, up, and I can upload a picture from Eiburg to the system and I can send it to the screen. So for me, this is something I find very typical. Back to here. And my colleague also found a picture on his camera roll. Yeah, I find it very typical that there is this water around. Most houses have like a garden on the water. You can actually swim there because the water is quite clean. And this is people really typically forget about this. It's a modern area, but still very recreational. So I can, as a facilitator, also select this picture and put it full screen or big at least and start discussing this. Yeah, so that is the option to use the camera roll in the Moodboard. Let me go to the next visual. This is the dilemma. It is a question is, what should the municipality aim for in Eiburg? So on the top you have sustainable, it's beautiful down and clean and safe left and right. So again, you can choose a position. The quadrant, we call this, is opposite to the dilemma. It has two axes and it is very good for more abstract subjects. So if you get an assignment and you like from people to know where does this brand stand for, or where should we go, and you can put different dimensions and you can easily discuss this. And it's people really stay focused. First of all, they all think very much, like there's no way you can escape the discussion because you have to put your point somewhere. And then when your point is set, the facilitator can again pick, okay, you say why you choose that position and you say why you should choose that position. So a nice thing about QandR is that all this stuff is saved, and you see immediately it is now in the style of, in our client style Motivaction, can be also your house style. So all these visuals you also can immediately use for follow-up, and that's very nice because normally when you have to report on a focus group discussion, it's quite a lot of work. Now you immediately have visuals, you put 2 or 3 quotes under it, and hop, you have your report ready. Okay, next visual. This is called the rating. It is used to evaluate certain designs or images that you would like to know the opinion of the room. So my colleague already gave it stars. I will give it only 1 star, this design, and you see it shows an average. So if you have a couple of designs or things you want to go forward with, this is excellent to quickly get average ratings from the room about it. If you like to be a bit more specific, so let's say you are evaluating a new packaging design which is on the table and you want everybody to give his opinion, you could use also the rating. I believe it's now next one, yeah. So you see now on the phone a slider. How would you grade Eiburg? You see my colleague already graded it. He gave it an 8. And I can slide now just up and down between 1 and 10. and give it, let's say I give it a 6. Now we have two phones, one is 8, one is 6, there's an average of 7. And you see here that opposite to the rating, actually you can see the colors again, so you can see who gave a high grade, who gave a low grade, and start a discussion from there, which is different from the rating, because there it's more kind of anonymously what the average is. Okay. So that was the grading. So let's use also the text option from the Moodboard. Let me show you how it looks on the phone. So I am like, the question is, what is a good slogan for Eiburg, for this neighborhood? So I'll do it in Dutch, because it's for Dutch people. Blij achter het ei. And if I do now preview, you see actually what you can send. And I can send to screen. And in this way, you see how the Moodboard works. The Moodboard option has the option to actually send in photos from the internet. You can use a camera roll, or if both of them are disappointing, you can actually use a text and send in something like this. Also, the Moodboard can be configured non-peer influence, like what you saw in the beginning with the poll. Then you just get big colors, and then if you hit the spacebar as a facilitator, it comes out. So let's go to the next one. This is actually a word cloud again. Let me show you how it works. The question is, in which way can Eiburg be brought to attention for a wider audience? So I think it's good to organize biking trips there. So I am sending now my answer, but on the main screen it's not immediately shown because this is configured on non-peer influence. We don't want people to influence each other. The other option is social media, in my opinion. So you are actually collecting different ideas, and as a facilitator, at a certain point you say, okay, I'm quite curious what everybody said. And you can actually hit the spacebar, pam, and all these answers appear, and then you start discussing instead of immediately. A backside is that on my phone now I don't see anymore the suggestions of the other person, because then you are influencing each other, of course. So you cannot do this brainstorming and upvoting, but still it is possible to send something. Thank you. So I'm going to the next one, which is actually the ending slide of this session. People gave a lot of opinions, how they thought about Eiburg, what their view was, how it should be promoted, what kind of associations they have, what is maybe kind of hidden treasures of this neighborhood, or what the municipality should actually give more attention to. And we use different modules to actually do this. We did word clouds to brainstorm together. We did dilemmas and the quadrants. These are typical for discussion, to put opposite, to challenge people with each other and to start a discussion. You can do very visual input with the Moodboard, and the Moodboard has different options. And of course there's a poll also. This is mostly used to ask how much knowledge do people have around the subject already. In the beginning of a session is the most simple interaction that we have. Okay, please also take a look at our other tutorials. For instance, how do I program such a session myself as a facilitator? And also, how do I start a session? Because everything is web-based. The phones, they're just using a browser, and also the main screen is just a browser in full screen mode. So there is no dependencies on hardware or whatever. Thanks for your attention, and yeah, please start using the system if you like it.